Alright, what is up, and what is going on? We are back with more Pokemon Insurgence. We're going for the 5th badge in this episode. Before that, we're going to go behind the building at Sonata Hills. We're going to show you a little early where you get a Delta Chandelure at. So, you take this side entrance, and inside you'll be able to find Delta Litwick. However, we're not going for it right now. Instead, we're going to go in the building. In the top left corner of that first floor, we're able to get a rare candy. And then if you go upstairs, that bottom left, you'll be able to get the TM for Dragon Pulse. We didn't use it in last episode because we were facing a fairy type gym leader. It was worthless. Now we'll continue with the story. Now, I do often allow the story scenes to play out only so that if you're watching as a let's play, this is your first time watching the story of the game, you get the full context. However, at the bottom of the screen, you'll be able to see I've separated this into chapters, and you'll be able to fast forward just straight to the gym leader fight if that's all you want to see. This is one of the most compelling story parts in the game, in my opinion. Like, this is a very fun part of the story. Although it's kind of tragic when you think about how much of a butt monkey that Damien ends up being. He got verbally abused by Nor in the previous episode. Then this episode, just things go terribly wrong for him. But this is a great part of the story, and I actually enjoy this story significantly more than any other Pokemon game I've played. All right, so there's nothing important on Route 10. So we just kind of pass through it. It's kind of like flyover country. Just make your way through it. Eventually, you'll get to Maelstrom 9, which has a funny name because it is after Route 10, but it's called Maelstrom 9. Over here on the left hand side of Maelstrom 9, you'll find a swimmer who can teach you Aqua Tail or Water Pulse if you need those two moves. Otherwise, there's nothing else of value on this route besides the gigantic dive spot. But I'm going to look around. I don't see anything, and I just move on to Kepler City. Now, here in Kepler City, there's a couple of TMs that you want to pick up immediately. Right here in this planter, you're going to get the TM for Wild Charge. And then over on the east side of the city, you're also going to be able to pick up the HM for Surf. So go ahead and pick that up. If you need a strong water move, TM, you got it now. By the way, that old lady can teach you defog if you want it, but honestly, not worthwhile now. So up here on this route, you'll see that the next route is blocked off by a dive spot. However, there's a trainer here who has a very familiar name and team. So if you didn't catch it, that's Picnicker Sajin, named after Sajin Park, the champion who won Worlds with a Pachirisu. And yeah, he has his Pachirisu here. And we're going to go ahead and put it on a t-shirt with our Mega Flygon here. If anything, they should have had Sajin Park's entire team. Like, where's my Garchomp at? Where's that at? Anyway, after finishing the observatory, you'll notice that it's raining and you'll be in a cutscene. During this cutscene, you are not able, or I should say, after this cutscene, you are not able to go anywhere basically. So if you want to go somewhere, you can only go down to Maelstrom 9, or if you want to fly somewhere, you'll need to take the Pika Taxi from the secret base in your Pokemon Center. So you can see that Pika Taxi's not there now, and I'm kind of confused. I'm like, where do I go? Where do I go? The reason why it's so important to be able to move around right now is so that you can pick up a couple of new TMs. So we're going down here. We're going to pick up a TM from a dive spot on this route called Crossroads. So right here, we just got TM01. That is Home Claws. And we got a couple other things we're going to do. By the way, now that we have the scuba deer, we are able to take another shortcut to the black market. By diving here, we can go through this dive spot straight to the black market. And it's even going to drop us off for exactly where we normally want to go, which is the custom move house. So I changed custom move to rock type just to give it better coverage for the time being. And now we're going to go to Sonata City to pick up another TM. In this dive spot, we are able to find the TM53 for Energy Ball. Now we're going to head back to that dive spot that we talked about earlier, and we're going to go ahead and enter the Abyssal Base. So the space follows a flowchart. You need to do a couple of things. You need to get the scientist's DNA in order to get the code. However, you don't necessarily need to do this if you're on your second playthrough because the code is going to stay the same. It's always Proteus, so you can just skip that part and straight go to the next piece, which is getting Audrey's DNA after draining the sewers. So you see there's different colored barriers. The blue barriers can be passed by abyssals, the green barriers can be passed by scientists, and the pink barrier here can only be passed by Audrey herself. Once you're in Audrey's DNA, you are able to bypass every other battle in this compound because nobody's going to want to fight you. I don't blame them because we met Persephone and she was willing to kill all her cultists. So, yeah, I would assume that Audrey has the same inclinations. So this battle versus Audrey is probably the first truly difficult battle I had in this playthrough. I lost probably 6 times before I was able to beat her, and that was just by having the correct items on me at the time. I didn't plan to have the correct items on me, so you're gonna see a lot of struggle here, to say the least. We'll get there though. Right here, I'm realizing that starting off with Magnezone was probably a bad idea, but I did go into this fight somewhat blind. And again, Toxic is pretty bad. I wasn't planning on getting Toxic. I think I was planning on getting some other Paralyzed. But then I realized, oh, I should probably be running Lumberry instead of whatever the Paralyzed Cure Berry is, just in order to stay ahead. By the way, Kyogre origin form or primal form is very, very scary. It's very, very scary, and we're gonna have to come up with a way to handle this threat. So we start out like normal again. We've got Meganium. We're going to start out with the attack because we know we're 2-hitting, so there's no point in using Leech Seed. However, I do use Leech Seed here, which was a mistake. I should have just Petal Blizzarded it here. You saw a cut there because I took a long time to make a decision, and then in the end, I just ended up getting outsped and killed anyway. So that was a pointless waste of time. So our main goal here is to paralyze Kyogre because we know we can chip it to death. However, he is going to use a full heal on it, or she's going to use a full heal on Kyogre. So we don't get to just take it down with one Pokemon. We're going to have to trade for it. However, we do have Sturdy on Magnezone, which allows us to at least get off one paralysis. And we were lucky enough to get a miss with Origin Pulse as well. So we got off 2 Thunder Waves against it. Another fairly lucky occurrence. I'm not sure I win that 1v1 without Alakazam missing Focus Blast. And just like that, the fight's in the bag. Nothing much to say except I got pretty stupidly lucky and I've made a couple big misplays there. Oh yeah, now that Audrey's down, we got some work to do. So now we're going to go pick up Delta Muck. So we're going to go to Sunset City, back up to the radio tower. At the broadcast tower, not radio tower, we are able to take mission 2. And mission 2 is going to give us our Delta Grimer. By the way, hopefully you've been saving an ability capsule for this thing, because there's no way to tell when you catch it if it's going to have regurgitation or not, because it always comes with Sap Sipper, and then once it evolves, it can have regurgitation. So until it evolves, you don't know which version of this Pokemon you're going to get, which means that it's much more clean to get a Delta Grimer, and then if it doesn't have regurgitation, then use an ability capsule to give it regurgitation. Anyway, our goal here was Adamant, so we got Adamant and we're ready to go. All right, so now we're going to train this Pokemon. I'm going to start doing this on stream a little bit, where you're going to see me raising the Pokemon by fighting the Deltadinos and also the EV training. I'm not going to take a long time of showing it to you, but I just wanted to show what it takes to raise a Pokemon in this game, because it does take quite a lot of work. By the way, I've been looking at this new fan game called Pokemon Detergent. It's basically a modded version of Pokemon Insurgence. Looks good. It does introduce a lot of good quality of life stuff, like simplifying a lot of the EV training for sure. I'm thinking about getting it and seeing if I could play it on Android. And if I can, I'll release another video showing how to do that. So this is going to end up being our final moveset for this badge. Don't follow the thought process of getting rid of Sandstorm, because Sandstorm is very important. Alright, so after the Audrey fight, but before the next badge, we are changing custom move to a ground type move. It just makes sense since we're going up against a ground, excuse me, electric steel type gym leader, right? So as I talked about before, we will be doing EV training as well. Each of these battles, if I have the power bracer on, I'm getting 4 attack EVs per knockout on top of the 3 that each shift tree gives me. And that's 7 per shift tree, which 3 shift tree per battle equals 21 EVs total. Up to this point, I haven't actually really EV trained any of my Pokemon, but now I'm starting to get after it. So you're going to see a lot more stronger movesets. The reason I started doing this is because I had such a hard time against Audrey that I felt like I'm not going to be able to continue winning battles against bosses unless I start EV training. Alright, so here's the gym. There's only one mandatory trainer in this gym. You just have to face that one person. And otherwise, you can kind of just see your way to the end. So right here's that mandatory trainer I was talking about. Now, I was thinking about teaching Rock Tomb, because basically any ghost with levitate just completely walls Muck here. But honestly, it's not that big of a deal. I accidentally ran into an extra trainer there. I did not need to fight that fight. Yeah, so if Klefki just gets lucky, then I have no chance of winning this fight. So I need to get not that unlucky. Now, unfortunately, Klefki completely misses here. I was kind of hoping to get confused, but still maintain control. Maybe I could have used the Leopard Berry as well. But anyway, that puts us up against Metagross, who is going to hit us quite hard. It's a Mega. But because we're not using a good regurgitation against it, like Dano would be the best. Either Dano or I forgot what fire type it is. But Either the fire or dark one would be much better in this case. But having grass is also just the best type overall. It just isn't good for this particular fight. Anyway, we come out way ahead during this exchange because we take out her Mega and we also take out her lead with just one Pokemon. We've basically 2-for-1'd her and then some. This is advantageous to me because he has to show me what he's going to do next. If I knew Custom Move wouldn't get the kill there, I would have Leech Seeded first. I will be the first person to tell you I have no real clue of how to fight Aegislash. Aegislash came out when I had stopped playing competitive Pokemon, so I have no clue of what to do when this thing comes out, because I have to account for King Shield, I have to account for Shadow Sneak, it changes forms. It's really annoying to deal with as a casual player effectively when I'm fighting against it. I guess what I could say I learned from this battle is to use non-contact moves for sure. So the plan was to use Mega Delta Sunflora as my Mega, but I just ended up not needing it because of how much momentum I had coming out with Metagross, or excuse me, with Delta Muck beating Metagross. But that'll be it for this. Actually, no, that will not be it for this. I did some extra stuff on the tail end here that I normally don't do at the end of a gym battle. I do go and catch one more Pokemon. That is going to be Delta Dunsparce. So you'll see we fly to the Whirl Islands and we go to this place called Lush Island. You're going to have to go to this hidden dive spot at the bottom southwest of the Stormy Seas route. Like, make your way in between these trees. You can just barely see the dive spot there, and then you're going to dive there. Anyway, check on the trees around you, and when you check a certain tree, so Delta Dunsparce is a water bug type. It is basically Surskit, but slightly better. It's not a special focus, it's a physical focus. It does get the hidden ability skill link, but you're not going to be able to use it during this playthrough. But we're picking it up because we're going to enter a section of the game that has more fire and ground type users. So she's going to be useful for us. Yeah, that's about it. As always, if you've enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. It helps so much. And then if you want to see more of these videos, hit that subscribe button. And that'll be it. Squirrel out.